Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're surprised to see me. Our MC's had a slight bit of an emergency, so she had to step out. But we have a very, very interesting panel waiting for you. Please put your hands together for our Women in Tech panel celebrating strength and resilience. I'd like to call up the panelists on stage. Charu Bhargava, VP IT, Sheila Foam. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Komal Vora, CISO, Equifax Credit Information Private Limited. Pradnya Manwar, Senior Director IT, Sutherland Finance. Lisa Sim, VP Marketing, APAC and Japan Palo Alto Networks. And our moderator, Professor Sana Karagani. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And if I could request some of the gentlemen sitting at the back to occupy the tables in front, this is a session that you will definitely not want to miss. Over to you, ladies.
Thank you very much. So I'm impersonating Miss Sangeeta Singh, so I apologize. My name is actually Sana Karagani, and welcome to the panel of celebrating strength and resilience. I have with me Charu Bhargava, who is the VP at IT VP at Sheila Foam. Komal Vora, who's the CISO at Equifax Credit Information. Pradnya Manwar, who's Senior Director of IT at Sutherland Finance. And we have Lisa Sim, who's the VP of Marketing in Asia Pac and Japan for Palo Alto Networks. I am going to, other than massively butchering your names, which I apologize for, I want to massively welcome you to the stage today. It's an absolute pleasure to share the stage with such an esteemed set of established women and accomplished women in technology. I know it hasn't been easy to get to where you are, and I personally want to thank you for being amazing role models for the women who are out there watching. Because it's always nice to see up on stage somebody that you can aspire to be, who looks a bit more like you than who you normally see up on stage. So from me, thank you. What I wanted to do was to give each of you a chance to actually introduce yourself, because no matter what you write down on paper, it's not going to be as good as if you can say it yourself. So I wonder if we can go down the line and have each of you introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now in your current role, and also let me know what strength and resilience has gotten you to where you are today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's always a pleasure to be around women. To introduce myself, I would like to just tell you about who I am, what I do. So I have been working in IT from 23 years now. Started as a management trainee in the organization, and in the same organization, I grew up the ladder. Growing in the same organization is sometimes really challenging, and sometimes I would say also a bit comfortable, because you know what kind of people you are working with. It is very easy when you are there on the top to start ignoring what challenges you faced. But when you really sit back and look at things, you really find that sometimes you basically became very resilient, ignored a lot of things. You have to really push hard. Not only push hard, but also accept criticism, accept it very positively that time, and reply back, not with aggression, but with your efforts. Because generally, when you are growing up the ladder, people does not want to accept you, and especially when you are a woman. And when you are around all men. So when I joined the organization, I was, I think, one or two women who were actually into, I would say, frontline jobs. Otherwise, they were all with me, either secretaries or at the reception, or few in accounts. Not in fact, few, just two in accounts. Growing into all men environment becomes sometimes very difficult. you actually have to show a lot of attributes. Sometimes emotionally you get broken up. Sometimes you have to take that as a strength. Sometimes just be quiet and wait for the right time so that you basically can prove that you can also exist, coexist into that environment. So a lot of things does happen. And I really take care now of the IT front of the organization. The organization is almost 4,000 crores or a million, listed on the stock exchange. We have presence in India, Australia, and Spain, so we are globally present. And as a role, I take care of technology enablement across the organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charu. Komal, same question for you, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Okay, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come on the dais and talk and share our thoughts and experiences. I work with Equifax Credit Information Private Limited as a CISO. So we can say it's a cyber defender profile, all right? And I have 24 years plus experience. So if I start my career journey, I started as a development, as a developer, then business analyst, then into IT administration in my journey, then entered into consulting, implementation security, products, then into IS audit, that is governance role, and then into InfoSec. So currently I'm into InfoSec. So that's my basic journey. So I have taken a full round of, whole profiles, and I love challenging roles. So I always try to look out for new things and, try to add on to my experience as well as to give back to my organizations as a value add. That's what, keeps me going. And I never give up. Anything which comes my way, I just take it as a challenge, accept it, do my research, prepare myself, give alternate solutions during difficult times, and just go on. And I always also believe in, all is well and everything will be well. So by taking a positive attitude, I just go ahead and try to, conquer the challenges which I come across. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pradnya.
Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Pradnya Manwar and I work for Sutherland as a senior director. I take care of global cyber security. So to start with my career, I was a customer support engineer. So I used to carry a toolkit and going around the field with the banks and fixing their computers, networks, whatever come on my way. So I actually learned long way by doing things which is newly, be it a operating system, be it a new network technology. So keep learning is my motive, So if you are into technology, so every day new things comes up. So you have to keep yourself updated. So learning and doing new things is my passion. Talking about my start of the career, when I used to visit organization to fix their computer network servers, I used to see female coming, surrounding me. This female is doing, going into the table, pulling the CPU, opening that CPU and fixing the hard drives or whatever. All that thing, whatever any male engineer could have done or could have been doing it. And they used to ask me, what did you do? What did you learn? What education you have done? And I have to tell them that, okay, this is, I have done computer engineering and I have done a particular course, that time MCSE was the full in demand. And they used to get very excited and they used to tell me that, okay, we will also have our children to go through this path, So that was, I used to feel very nice. Okay, people are liking that female is coming and fixing their systems, So yeah, and that's how my journey started, and now I'm at leadership role here, but still my technical capabilities are getting questioned. So that is why I'm saying, keep learning and your action speaks louder than word. That is what I I will convey to you guys. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As Sana mentioned, my name's Lisa Sim, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Palo Alto Networks for Japan and Asia Pacific. And it's a pleasure to be here. India is one of my favourite countries. I love the food here, and I have literally eaten my way from Bangalore through to Delhi and now Kolkata. And it's my first time in Kolkata, and it's beautiful here. So thank you for having me. I come from a very small country called New Zealand, and that sailing segment that we saw before with that really inspiring gentleman was very, very moving for me. We have the highest, I think, number of yachts per capita anywhere on the planet, so I felt like I was right at home watching that. In terms of my career, I actually started out in Japan about 30 years ago, and I've been in technology my whole career. When I started, there was a ratio of about 1 female to 75 males in technology. So we've come quite some way, actually. But I have really always enjoyed the fast pace and the innovation in the organisations, and it's been wonderful for me to work for a number of technology companies. I have to say, you know, when we think about strength and resilience, I have this superpower that has been a huge part to my success in my career, and that's really that I'm no good at doing my day job. I'm always sticking my nose in the business of the business, and I'm always trying to understand what are the problems we're trying to solve or the opportunities we're trying to lock as a business, and how can I get involved in that. So when I was quite young, this is showing my age, but cloud was just coming out, and our organisation was trying to understand how we could actually internalise it and commercialise it. And I heard there was a steering group, and I really wanted to be a part of it. And I walked in there, and they said, well, what are you doing here? And I said, look, I'm really good at communications, I'm very good at writing business cases, and I'm very good at finding money. And they said, okay, take a seat. Now, I didn't know at that point that I was good at any of that, but I had to find out if I was, and that's exactly what I went and did. So I think sometimes you've got to be really brave and be ready to fail and then go for it. So that was my learning. Thanks.
Thank you. It's amazing to hear the stories, right? If I kind of play back some of the themes I heard, which is push hard, accept criticism, but speak up for yourself, a positive attitude towards everything that you do, keep ahead of the game, keep learning throughout your entire career, and get involved. Be brave. And it doesn't matter if you try to jump in with both feet. I mean, it's incredibly inspirational to hear, and the themes are so similar across the stories that you've told. I wonder if we go down again with my second question, and Komal, perhaps we can start with you and go up and then come back this way. Can you tell me about what it is that drives you every day? That means you haven't given up, right? So you wake up and you go back to the office and you continue to try and succeed, and you make it through all of the different roles you've had to reach where you are. So what is it that drives you?
So, as I said, I love to, accept challenges and, whatever comes in my way, and I try learning things and go ahead. But what mostly drives me is, in cybersecurity, how hackers collaborate, right? So, and they collaborate across the globe. So I also like to, collaborate with my team in the organization and try to help, protect or defend my environment. So that is what helps me to, learn new things, because as you all know, now the cyber attacks have increased so much in this year, and in the next year it is predicted. So new technologies come in, and there are challenges which we need to do research and, always try, test things, and then, upgrade ourselves so that we are one step ahead of hackers. So that is what drives me, to come every day to office and find something new, or, some different controls which would help protect my environment. So that helps me drive the show.
Love it. That's super exciting. Padnya.
What's drive me? So I like my job. So that's what drives me to go to work. Why? Because the kind of field I'm in, cybersecurity, so every day we come across new challenges, new attacks. So, and then not only new attacks, the insider threats also. So I like that kind of investigation thing, you know, looking into thing and finding out the root cause, what caused that issue, you know, and fixing those. And then, so, and every day you come across new frauds, new cases, new attacks. So that gives you also learning how to ensure that you prevent your organization from these attackers or threat actors or internal insider threats. Even internally you might have come across some frauds happens by the employees, right? So you have to keep watch on them also. So we do monitor everybody globally, internally or externally as well. So that keeps me motivated that to do my job.
Brilliant. Lisa, please.
Yeah, I think adding to what Kumal and Pradnya have said, kind of that higher purpose and loving your job is really important to me personally. I'm in cybersecurity. You know, you will have heard many times throughout today about the technology and the technological innovation that we need today, especially around AI and how we need to fight AI with AI. But if you peel it all back, actually, cybersecurity is a very human issue. We're actually talking about people who get impacted every day, whether their bank account is being drained, whether they're being, you know, scammed in some other way, shape or form. And what gets me out of bed and keeps me highly motivated is actually the fact that we've got to protect our world, and that drove me to found a program called Cyber Safe Kids. And we have that running throughout the Asia Pacific region, where we help support communities and schools to teach the digital life skills that our children need to protect themselves. And that keeps me very, very grounded, actually, especially when it's a hard day. Thanks.
Terry, please.
So to answer this question, I'll just ask a question that is what takes you back home? And the answer is same, that brings me back to work. When we go home, we feel happy, secure, safe, the environment, the people with whom we really want to love. And same environment we have tried to create in the organization. We get something new to learn. I would say the people around me, I am fortunate enough to have good people around where we get freedom to work with, experiment, without any questions. Questions means not wrong decisions, but intentions. So this kind of a culture we are able to create in the organization, which really brings me back each day to experiment with things.
Fantastic. And I might add one for myself. So I don't know how many people have seen the movie Pretty Woman, but there's a point where she goes to go shopping, and she's not dressed very well, and so the shop assistants don't want to help her because they don't think she has any money, she's not going to buy anything. And so she goes shopping somewhere else, but then she goes back into the store, dressed up beautifully in her new clothes, and she's got all sorts of bags. Now everybody wants to help her. And she says, big mistake, huge. And that is my driving moment, because I love when I walk into a room and people expect you not to be technical or not to know what you're talking about. And then you get a chance to have that moment where you go, big mistake, huge. That drives me. It's just a little fun thing I do on the side. Right, so back to you lot. Right, can you guys tell me a little bit about your war stories, right? So everybody likes to hear, what are some of the challenges that you've actually overcome? So what are things that have happened where you've had to rely on your strength and resilience to bring a group along with you, or to affect change that perhaps the rest of the organization didn't see? But just as an example, you can go anywhere with this. And who have we not started? Would you like to start, Pradnya? Yes, please.
So, you want? So this is about I joining one of the organization where people were not really aware about why Pradnya was hired for what role she is into. I was supposed to lead a SOC, and that organization was not aware about Security Operations Center. What does it mean? And they were questioning why she is there. We don't understand what she is doing. And I was given a project to build a team and ensure that all the devices or systems in the organization getting monitored properly. But then nobody was aware about this role at all. And that was new thing for them as well, because they had the tool just for a PCI compliance related thing. So one fine day we had some situation where we saw some malware spreading across the organization, and my team was detecting those through the alert, 24/7, and giving instructions to the IT and network team that, okay, this is the system which is infected, you need to isolate. And that's how we could able to minimize the business impact. Hardly 3% of systems were got infected because of that worm. And that's how entire organization got to know, okay, this is Pradnya and Pradnya's team who is doing this job and protecting our business. So
So you had your pretty woman moment.
yeah. So they got to know, okay, what is Pradnya's role and what Pradnya is here for.
Brilliant. Lisa, would you like to go next, please?
Sure. So, look, I think sort of my war story is more of a growth story, actually, but it was at a time where it wasn't as if we were at war, but quite frankly, I think everybody in the world felt like they were in the same place. And it was probably the largest growth moment I've had as a leader in my lifetime, and a very vulnerable moment for me, and that was during the pandemic. I live in a city, Melbourne, where we had 262 days of consecutive lockdown. Well, not consecutive, but combined ended up being 262 days. And during that time I was leading, a very large marketing organisation across the Asia Pacific and Japan region, and that we were heavily hit everywhere, heavily impacted. And it was something that I wasn't prepared for, which was I was adjusting to the idea that our team were going to be working in a new way, so from home. But I wasn't prepared for, I guess, the level of ambiguity and uncertainty that my team would be feeling, and the level of impact, personal impact that would come into play in their work environment. And that was really new, but I was experiencing exactly the same thing at the same time. So as a leader, developing that empathetic leadership muscle was very new to me, and I think it was a life-changing moment, and I think that's probably my largest war story. Yeah,
It's brilliant. I think that period of time, everyone had to show a little bit of their own issues, or kind of turn over and say, I have personal problems and a personal life as well. And I think as women, we tend to hide that part of our life when we go into work. But it was this transparency we all had to show to be good leaders. It's a great example. Chara, would you like to go next, please?
So we keep facing a lot of challenges where you need to keep proving yourself. But I would like to share it's not just in India. So the biggest, I would say, where I actually experienced the kind of resistance people have is outside India. So this is long back, and I was also quite young, very new to the organization. No, I would not say very new, but 5 years into the organization, and we actually acquired a company outside India, and there we were actually changing their 30 years old system, and I was leading that. So it was very difficult for these people abroad to trust and believe that a person just with a 5 years experience into the industry will come and change the system, which they are running from last 30 years, and that's also a homegrown system. The kind of resistance that I've actually faced, and which actually Months I have to explain them that the system can go live without a zero downtime. So they said it will be a business loss and chaos and mismanagement and all negative words that can go with it. But to hold yourself alone into a foreign land where you are new to them, they are new to you, and then keep proving yourself each day that what you are doing and what you will do is for good for everyone without any business loss. You really need to be, I would say, patient, confident, and I would say at that age, if it would have been this where you have a lot of experience to talk about, the situation would have been different. But just when you are young, you are also impulsive. But you can't show your aggression, you can't show your, I would say, conviction, because they have their own resistance. So taking all this and then proving yourself is like, and doing the work at the same time. It's like sword from everywhere. And you have to stand calm, quiet, and keep proving that what you really want to do and what you will deliver will be beneficial for everyone.
Thank you very much. It is difficult, but you jumped in with both feet. Koma, please.
Yeah. So challenges, though, as I said, we are cyber defenders, so we face every day, and it's on the real-time basis. We try to solve the threats or attacks which happen on our environments. So that is the people think that that is my core competency. So what is that I'm doing a value add? So we have to actually not only do the technical part of it as a cyber defender, but in other areas also. Like if I can give you one example, which was, challenging for me, was I just entered one organization where it was a multinational. So the group company charged as INFOSEC, that is India INFOSEC department, that is myself and my team, with 20 crores, with some kind of categories, which with no explanation, no working papers, no formulas which derived those amounts. So when I saw that, such a huge amount it is. How can I just approve without seeing the working papers and all? But in my organization, others were also charged. Like technology was charged like that. Same way. There is no explanation, no working papers, nothing. No formula, how they derive, what one-man resources are getting used, how many licenses are getting charged, nothing, no explanation. So technology was getting charged, HR was getting charged, legal was getting charged, but as I had entered new and I cannot just approve like that. So, but the thing is, if I push them back, saying that you need to give me an explanation when I've just entered in an organization, it will be a very setback for the global team, that how can Komal Vora challenge the things which are going on as a process in terms of, chargebacks or accounts of finance, how can you challenge? But I had to do it because I wanted that explanation and wanted to see the return of investment which the group is giving me. If not, then what is the alternates which I can offer to India region? Because as compared to other regions, India region at that time, was not having that much good business. So we actually couldn't afford. So paying 20 crores only in my profile, and others are also there in the line, but they had never challenged because they thought that if they challenge, their performance will be hit, or how people will take group, that is our group subunit, my parent head office charging us, and then pushing it back would be, they would go in the wrong books. But I said, nothing doing, you'll have to explain me and give that explanation and get that thing. And in that interim, when we were doing this for that organization, actually, because of I challenging that, then I gave my return of investment with other different alternatives from India side. We could bring the SOC from the global side to India region. And then I was leading that team, build that team, leading that team, and providing service, as a internal units across my other regions of that group. And, that also, it was a very economical, because as you all know, India as a resource is very cheap, very skillful, very hardworking, and whatever we promise, we deliver. So that is how I took that as a challenge and actually twisted the whole, you know, equation, and that is how we started charging as India. And I mean, I am not supposed to, you know, be a business generator. I am a facilitator or a risk profile as an InfoSec. But then that also added to India region as a additional business kind of. Means I am providing service to my internal units. And in a very economical way, the management appreciated, and that is how I actually could do a value add. And at the end of the day, or at the end of that full project, I was so satisfied that I did my bit. Though it was really challenging because I was taken to task with all my top leaders that how, you know, I'm challenging this equation, whatever they are calculating since 14 years. And now I just came 6 months and then she's challenging. But I follow my heart. If it is wrong, it is wrong. You give me explanation, I will accept it, and I will, you know, if you give me facts and figures, I would obey and respect your thing, and I will accept it. But if, you know, things are just bombarded, or, you know, I mean, put me on task by saying you have to accept it, or bullied, I don't take it like that. So that is how, you know, it just happened that everything turned on my side, and I actually achieved that, and it was my biggest experience of my career where this was done. So management appreciated, and I was like, wow, what a achievement I did. So I do my self-analysis and self-appreciation. and also
well deserved
marketing
too. Well deserved.
myself.
I think
so that's what I...
This is an incredible example because actually this isn't about this isn't a specific female, but this is strength and resilience in a human doing a job, right? And I think that is an incredible example because there were others in the roles. Presumably, some of them would have been men, and none of them had pushed back. So I think, you know, taking this position and believing in yourself enough to push back, I think that's an incredible example. I want to talk about role models and mentors, if I may. So there's a huge amount of research right now that talks about the importance of mentors in the success of anyone in work. So I wonder if I may, Lisa, and we'll start with you and we'll come back down the line. Can you talk about either a mentor at work or personally, or a role model that has been helpful to you in your journey?
Yeah, gosh, I've got a few. I'll talk about one of my mentors who I have really, who's mentored me for more than 20 years. And it really is kind of, he's intertwined with my life, really. And that is the former CEO and chairman of a company that I worked for. I actually got hired for a role, and 3 months later I told him I'm pregnant. And then I went away and had a child, came back, and then told him I was pregnant again, and ended up with 2 children under the age of 2. A brand new mother in a very senior role, a very senior high-pressured role. And at no point did he consider that to be a nuisance. Because many women are often held back, or they get criticised, or people get wary about hiring them if they are about to start a family or they have a young family. But I have never worked so hard in my life like I did for him. My mind was always on how I was going to help him grow this business, even when I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning feeding a baby. Because the loyalty and the sense of self-worth that he gave me has stayed with me for life. The irony, he had no children. He was married, but he didn't have children. So he had no empathy as a father to my situation. But what he saw was he was investing in me, and I was investing in him and the business. And he holds a mirror up to me, and we have the most difficult conversations, and he makes me very uncomfortable. He challenges me a lot, but he does it from a place of commitment to my success, and I'm forever grateful for that, actually. So that's probably around that mentor. Thank you.
Thank you. Such a great story, and also shows the power of management as well as the mentorship side of it. The power of, as a manager, having a manager that supports you creates this feeling of delivery and productivity in your teams, which is incredible. Padnya, would you like to go next, please?
Sure. So at personal level, my mentors and role models are my parents. So they are the one who actually supported me where I am today. And my father was supporting me for anything related to education. He was there for me. So they are the one who are actually role model for me at personal level and mentor as well. My father was very good supporter. At professional level, so I joined one of the shipping organization where the CIO was very supportive. He was giving me, he was empowering me for anything. Any new projects, anything, he just asked me to do. His motive, this thing was like, what will happen most? You will fail, but you will at least learn from that, right? So go for it. Don't get scared doing any new things. You should do it. You should take a risk. If you don't take a risk, you don't learn, you will no go forward, So, and he was supporting me for my education also. So while working, I was completing my master's as well. So he was very supportive. He used to give me leaves and never ask me to work extra hours. And I'm still in touch with him. He still guide me. He still mentor me. So after 15, 20 years, he still is my mentor.
Amazing. So sometimes we need someone to tell us what we can do that we don't do ourselves. Thank you very much. Come on, please.
So I will share that, my parents have been the most, supportive as mentors, and, because you need as a female many supporters. Otherwise, we can't take that journey which we have always been taken, and where we have reached now, because we also have to balance our personal life where we get married, we have kids, and, that journey where we have to support the small kid and ensure that front also we are the best, because we always try to, want to put more efforts, or try to see that what alternates or what solutions we can get to improve our own environment, or whether it is family side or at professional side, and we want to give the 100% to both the sides, where we cannot let go anything, zero tolerance at both the sides. So it's my own target, so that is how I work. But this kind of passion or to achieve something, from my family side, I got it from my parents. My mother being the most supportive to take care of my kid and all, whenever, because I used to travel a lot in my consulting days. So I used to be traveling Asia Pacific for every 15 days. 15 days I used to travel, 15 days at home, and then back again traveling. So my parents, my husband also supported me very well. My in-laws side also supported. So actually, and I come from a background which is, Jain, which is all businessman, and a female working I'm the only one in my age who is the career, at such a lead. So, so it is very difficult to convince everyone, but I could, try, discuss with them personally and manage those things and, find my solutions. But in professional side, in my start of my career, I entered into an Indian consulting firm called Aneja Associate. So Mr. Narendra Aneja, though he is not technical, he is a chartered, but he gave me that freedom to explore anything and everything in technology. So when I entered there, I was taken up for my Microsoft 2000 skill set, because they had pitched for some project and where I had to harden those systems and give that project as a consulting. But then as and when we progressed, any technology coming in, any project coming in, as they were internal auditors, so we used to get different kinds of projects. So SAP projects, anything, implementation projects, any security tool, DLP projects. But at that age, we were never exposed, or, we were not trained hands-on that. But he had that confidence that you will be able to do it, because I had delivered many projects like that, but I had done research on my own without spending his money from the office. So I used to do the learning from the Google, and my own, salaries I used to spend in that, so that I can, before entering any corporate, while taking the projects, be much more as a value add to give it to the client, so the client appreciates and he knows that he gets that assurance, the client gets the assurance that she'll be able to do it or deliver the same. So that is how I, could give those things, and, complete those projects. So I think, he was my mentor in that sense that he used to always support me and believe in me. So that gave me a freedom and wings which I could fly. Until date, I am only with that base where I do research and just take any challenges which come my way. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm just going to give Charu a chance to answer the question, if that's okay. No, go ahead.
So, when I started my journey, it was my parents who actually forced me to get into job. So, they have been a role model in many sense that we look up to them, that how they struggle and they don't want their kids to struggle, and especially the daughters. So I lost my father when I was 8, and with 2 sisters, younger one. My mother actually always wanted all 3 of us to work, and my aunt supported her. So because she was also working. So these 2 have been a role model. My aunt and my mother has been role model in starting my career. And I was really fortunate enough that when I started my career, I actually got a fantastic person to work with. So he's the current global CIO. He has been really compassionate, and he has given ample chances and I would say freedom to me to work. And I really look forward and look upon him for any solution or wherever I am stuck. And you only aspire those from whom you really learn and whom you want to be like, because that keeps you going. And we as team, I would say there are almost 200 people, and I would say there will be rarely anyone who really don't look up to him. So he is not only just, I would say, a mentor for the entire team, but a person who actually everyone inspires to be. Not just because of knowledge, but because of compassionation, I would say empathy that he really shows, and this is what we want to practice.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I think having this group of women on the stage, I wanted to end with literally a 10-second call to action. So we have an audience in front of us. Each one of them can do a thing, okay? A small thing. But we all need to do our part to make a change that we want to see in the world. So can we go down and please have one call to action for the audience to take away? Lisa, do you want to go?
Okay, all I want to say is please go and identify a very young, inspired young woman who really wants to be mentored, and take the time to mentor her or connect her with somebody who will.
Thank you.
From me, if you have female employees within your team, so please support them. They just need little push to grow, so they just need that little push and the support from the people around her. So if you give that support, they can do wonders.
So the message for you all is, give space to, women employees also to, share their thoughts, ideas, allow them to speak, allow them to give solutions, and try to evaluate from their side also, so that, as a team, we all can work together and actually do a value add to the organization. Thank you.
So the only thing that I would like to put forward is, we can't have one dish every time in lunch and breakfast. We want diversity in each phase of life. So why not work? So we need to embrace both the genders and give them ample space just to embrace the diversity, so that different thoughts to the table can come up.
And may I add mine to this amazing list? We tend to hire people in our own image. So when you go out to hire, make sure you have women on the panel as well, because that will bring a different perspective to the hiring process. And for people who are having trouble attracting more women to a job, you need to put women on the panel to do the interviewing. So with that, a massive, massive thank you, please. A round of applause for this incredible panel. Thank you for having us.
What an inspirational and fantastic panel. Thank you so much. It has been one of the best sessions so far, and I'd like you to just remain on stage while I request Mr. Dhruva Mukherjee, CEO, ABP Group, to come in and felicitate our esteemed guests. I think another round of applause. This panel deserves another round of applause. Especially with the call to action, I think that's something that can be really implemented in each and every organization, correct? A photograph, please, if you all could step forward. Thank you so much. We'd now like to get ready for our next technology keynote. Allow us a couple of minutes to set up the stage. In the meantime, I hope you've had an opportunity to visit all our exhibition booths and follow us on all our social pages. And just to let you know the highlight of this evening today, so we have the CIO Awards in the evening, followed by live musical entertainment. So we are looking forward to seeing you there as well.